evening everybody, Eco Biker here. Just heading home from work, another day in the office. Get the added joy of a ride home, which is good. Best part about going to work, isn't it? The worst part about working from home is that you don't get to play on your bike every day, although I do get the odd lunchtime session. Unfortunately not recently, I've been paired up with somebody else remotely, so I haven't had the chance. It's a bit of a nightmare, but you know, hey ho. Anyway, I've come on the Yamaha. Thought I'd give it a bit of a check out. I've done my oil and filters over the weekend because it's past 12,000 miles, needed doing. I've decided I'm going to do my own servicing. So I've done the oil and filters. The only other real thing that needs doing, apart from checks, which are mainly visual checks, is greasing, which again is not much of a job, and the spark plugs. So I've got to do the spark plugs still, haven't done them yet, but I've got my manual so I can work out how to do it, and if it all goes horribly wrong I'll go, "Gosh, help me." Anyway, I thought I'd share with you my favourite news story of the week. And then there were actually two news stories that were kind of related. One of them isn't my favourite by any means. One of them was a bit of a shock, really. There's a news story that I saw today that's slightly related. I'm afraid both of them are about poo. So if you're not, if you don't want to listen to news stories about poo or sewage, then you might want to turn off now. But the one I saw today was quite disturbing. It was that apparently there's been a 50% increase in wet wipes being found on the beaches around the UK. And I thought, well, that's interesting. How do they get there? And it explained how they get there. And how they get there is people are flushing them down the toilet. Fair enough. Shouldn't be flushing wet wipes down the toilet. But how the hell do they get to the beach? How can a wet wipe, which is a reasonably substantial thing, get through the sewage treatment system to the point where it appears on a beach? And if they can do that, you know, what else is there that potentially can get on a beach after going down the toilet? That's slightly disturbing, that. I'm looking left, it is a slip road, but you do get the odd nutter who goes down the motorway the wrong way, don't you? Anyway, that wasn't the news story that was my favourite news story of the week. My favourite one of the week, hate it when people think that they can just drive full speed up to a junction and slam on. One day your brakes won't work. My favourite news story of the week was about a BA, British Airways flight. Long haul flight. I can't remember where it's from exactly, but I think it was in the Far East. There's a long haul flight. And I kind of tried to picture what it must have been like for the people on board, given the heightened terrorist threat that we seem to permanently be under at the moment. So what happened was the plane took off and was flying for about half an hour. After about half an hour there was an announcement on the intercom. The pilot comes on the intercom and asks for the stewards, stewardesses, what they're called, air crew, I don't know, whatever they're called, Captain Rambunctious might be able to tell me, to go through to the cabin and talk to the pilot. And he didn't say why, but he just asked for this to happen. So obviously they did. And I would think at that point there would be some people on that plane thinking, oh, what's going on here? Is there a problem with the plane? Is there a bomb on the plane? You know, what could be going on? Anyway, he chatted to them for about 10 minutes and then they came back out. And after that 10 minutes, when they came back out, they then had another announcement, again from the pilot, but this time the pilot said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you might have noticed that there is a smell of liquid feces emanating from the toilet." And the smell is so bad that we're going to have to turn the plane around and go back to where we set off from. So, because there was some smelly poo in one of the toilets on the aeroplane, they actually turned it round, flew back to where they set off from, got everybody off the plane and had to have it all cleaned, and everybody that was on the plane had to reschedule their flight for the next flight, which was 15 hours away. Now, you would hope that it's been caused by a fault. Can you imagine being the person responsible? Just nip into the loo, love, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Half an hour later, we're turning around the plane. The passenger in seat A52 has done a rather smelly poo, and I'm afraid we're out of poo fuel. So there's nothing we can do, we're going back. I mean, it's actually quite shocking in a way, not because people have smelly poos, but you think that because of that, they turned around an aeroplane, there's all the cost of that fuel, which wouldn't have been cheap, the cost of all the crew, the cabin crew, that's what they're called, the cabin crew, the cost of the pilot, the co-pilot, the third pilot if there was one, all of that potential business loss for all those people who had to get to meetings. Now, if you were the person responsible for that, I can see that there's two potential reactions. Either you're going to be incredibly embarrassed, thank you very much, you're going to be incredibly embarrassed, or you're going to have one of the best pub stories ever. Let me tell you about the time I went for a poo on a jumbo jet, lads. Get the rounding. I'll shut up now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Ride safe, and I shall talk to you all again soon.